Okay, awesome. All right, so what's up, everybody that's either listening live or watching this after the live? But I'm here with my awesome friend, Natalie, who is a really talented creative and a really awesome agency owner that we've had the pleasure of working with for a few months. And her story is very inspiring. She's overcome a lot of challenges of agency life and dealing with partnership breakups and all that kind of stuff. And she's battled back like a champ, and now she's crushing it. So I wanted to bring her on and introduce her to the community because she has a lot of really great wisdom and energy to share with the community. So hello, Natalie.
Hola.
What's up? So yeah, why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I am the owner of Oh Hello Agency. I got into the agency world about 5 years ago after I left TV news. So I was a news anchor for almost 5 years, reporter anchor in the news world. I lived in DC for a year, and I wanted to get out of that because, quite honestly, like mentally, it was really draining. I wasn't sleeping very well. I was covering a lot of crime. Found the agency world and went into an agency where I really got to watch the agency grow from start to finish, called Evil Empire. We had 25 people. I was the director of sales. There was some crazy growth while the CEO decided to sell that agency. And so I kind of had to think fast and decided to start Oh Hello with my two ex-partners, previous partners, Davey and Dan. So I kind of took my sales skills, married with my storytelling skills, and decided that Oh Hello could be more of a brand positioning agency, and we could help companies with storytelling and strategy at its base. And I was able to kind of compile my skills of being able to sell and being able to tell a story, and a lot of that has some overlap. So yeah, to cut to the chase, 2 years ago, we started Oh Hello. 6 months ago, roughly, I started the process of buying my partners out and taking the agency on its new path, and Different Hunger has been a huge part of that because I don't know that I would have had the confidence without signing up for the program. So yeah, how did I do?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And yeah, I'd love to just back up a little bit because like you, I quit a job and got into first freelancing, then agency life. And a lot of the people listening are probably already freelancing and maybe already have an agency set up. But many of us did also go through that same path. So like, or, for those of us that are also listening that might eventually one day want to start a business, like what would you say was like the most challenging thing and also the greatest lesson that you learned when you were going through that initial jump? Because I know that terrifies a lot of people. So yeah, what do you think about that?
So the first challenge was freelancing while I was doing my normal job, because as soon as I kind of saw the writing on the wall that Evil was going to get acquired, I actually started freelancing with my partners, and the three of us ended up saving in total about $32,000 before we quit our jobs. I mean, we quit before the acquisition. So that was the biggest challenge, is like, if you're not ready to work the 60-hour weeks to get started, and obviously our program is a lot about how do we find wellness and only get ourselves down to actually a normal work week. But those first 6 to 12 weeks are grueling when you decide to make the switch, and you have to save money. Like, yes, I understand a lot of people are like, just jump in, just do it. No way to go but up. But honestly, especially where we are in our economy today with coronavirus, I would say if you want to leave your job, really establish whether you can hustle enough while you already have a job to save some money, because I'm really glad we did that. But it was a challenge. It was hard. It also allowed us to not take on any investors, not get a bank loan for the first year. All of that really helped us because later we had some struggles and needed that kind of stuff. So you said this, what was the second question? Challenge and then?
Lesson.
Well, I think, to be honest, as much as I love my partners, I think I took them on because I needed a crutch emotionally. Like, I think I was just so scared to make the jump alone that I was like, oh, I need partners. And it's not that they aren't good people, because they're amazing humans. It's just, I probably could have done it without them if I had really mentally decided to get over myself. And so I think the lesson there is, obviously we've split and now I own the company, but it was still costly to do that. So start to figure out what you really want synergy wise out of a partnership before you jump into that, and why you're wanting partners. Like, I will say I don't think I could have built a brand like Davey and Dan did. The Oholo brand is so kick-ass. But did I need to give them a partnership in it to do that, or could I have just paid them? So.
Yeah, totally. I've experienced that as well. So yeah, that's really, really good advice. I definitely didn't take the first piece of advice. I should have, though. That would have made things easier. But
You're
yeah,
human.
yeah, yeah. And the other thing is, another way to save more and also cut costs while you are making that transition, which a lot of people do now, is to go and live overseas, abroad, in other economies. So yeah, but that's really, really good advice. So now fast forwarding to today, and when we met a few months ago, I mean, tell us a little bit about where you were at, like what your kind of situation was, and like what you were looking to like accelerate and streamline, because I know obviously you were going through a partnership breakup. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about where you're at.
Yeah, so I'd say 6 months ago, lead generation was the biggest problem that we had. We just were not pulling in enough leads. And the other aspect was we weren't using technology to predictably scale the agency. We were just depending on a lot of word of mouth referral, and that something would close and through the word of mouth. But word of mouth, like, the thing is you have to kind of take what you get, and they have all the negotiating power, and because you need that deal. So like 6 months ago, we were just struggling financially to make, our overhead with our office and our payroll with an employee, and all of our costs were about $30,000 a month. And so we were having to take on piddly projects to really pay the rent, and we were just really stressed about the lack of profit. So after that, yeah, so I guess the lead gen problem is definitely what Different Hunger helped me solve, because the course teaches you that in the first 3 weeks. And that's the thing that I'm actually once I learned it, now I'm actually as overwhelmed and just trying to finish off the program, because we've had some lead generation increase, and it's even changed Different Hunger changed my mentality too about how I want to approach businesses. So even in the word of mouth referral that we are getting, I feel like I just got a better pitch and a better grasp on what we're doing and how we can do it better because of the program, that even my sales skills are kind of improving. Because when you're confident about what you're selling, that really helps.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that's really, really important. And I just want to also highlight one thing you said, because I also started obviously as a designer, and a lot of people here are creative, branding, marketing, but they're very much not like marketing and systems and that side of thing driven, right? And so a lot of them are dealing with projects and one-time payments from clients. So now obviously you're running a retainer-based model. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that transition from kind of like inconsistency in terms of clients and projects, but also like lead flow and ideal clients, right?
Yeah. Well, so now, okay, so basically what we were doing is just websites and just logos and just branding. And now we're doing some social media management, some email marketing, some blogging, content development and design. And we basically are doing retainers. And so our retainers start around 1,000 and go up all the way to 2,000. So now we've got, 6 clients on retainer, and we're feeling a lot more confident because we have that reoccurring revenue, but we're also still doing the project-based work. And excuse me. And even the project-based work is 60% down and 40% split over 2 months. So really the way that we looked at it was, okay, what deliverables can we do? What deliverables can we train our team VAs on? And how can we just get some reoccurring revenue so we're not starting over every month? So the process really was just getting those packages together and kind of using the inspiration in the programming on what people's pain points actually are. Like, as much as I don't love doing social media, it is a big pain point for a lot of companies. And we've been able to sell more social media and figure out how to, onboard it and basically give it to a VA and understand that that's just a piece of the business model. And we'll take on the passion projects when we want to and when they can pay us. So does that make sense? That kind of help? I mean, basically the packages, coming up with each individual one, on making a list.
Totally. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, that's great that you've been able to supplement the projects with the retainers. And yeah, I mean, tell us now, after, I guess it's been 4 or 5 months or so. But yeah, just kind of tell us a little bit about, what's happened and where things are and where they're headed.
Yeah. So, I mean, the great thing is we just closed, some really big projects, some really big websites.
Nice.
So even if we lose a reoccurring client, over the next 3 months, we've got a little bit of a safety net. But I really think we were able to do that because I was more confident that I know how to get more leads, and we didn't try and budge on our price. We've been doing so much, before this, we would just kind of budge on price and kind of underbid because we knew we had to win it. But when you bid confidently, you get quality clients. So that's a big thing, is just learning that we can't do a 60-hour project at the price for 30 hours. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
What was the question again? I just forgot where I was.
So it was, tell us about the transition and past few months.
Yeah. So, I mean, the past few months, that's been the biggest transition, is being able to be more confident in our lead generation, being able to feel confident about our pricing and the type of caliber client that we're taking on. I'd say the past few months have been really busy, but because I'm learning to systemize things like sales, I'm learning how to systemize every piece of my business. So I hired a virtual assistant to do my online scheduling, and she schedules out all of my self-care stuff, and she has the dates of when I want to do that. She schedules out all of my meetings with leads. She schedules out all of our meetings for the company. Now, it took me 4 or 5 hours of training her, creating the scheduling rules, creating the scheduling process, getting her access to everything. But now that I'm finding that I'm able to get into deep focus mode and stay there because I'm not worried about missing an email. So my point is this is the big takeaway, is really not just sales, but how to create systematic processes so you're not shooting from the hip. Because when you're shooting from the hip, it's a shit show. I'm always checking my email and going back and forth with people on trying to get a time for an interview or for a meeting, then I can't fully immerse myself in working on a brand strategy project that means a lot to the agency. And I have to still do good work. So systemizing has been the biggest thing. Learning to be patient with some of these virtual assistants as you teach them what they need to be doing. As you know, Matt, some of them are really talented, some of them need more training. And so just making sure that I'm staying sane and doing enough of that so that I can actually step away from the business.
Totally. Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely, it's great to see, see your progress, right? It's especially on your own. And just going out there, making it happen, delegating more work, having more time for self-care, but being smart enough to delegate it out, the scheduling of that, that's awesome, right? So yeah, I mean, what would be some of your, I guess, what are your top 2 or 3 tips that you would share with a freelancer or an agency owner that is, getting a few referrals here and there, but is just stuck doing a lot of the work if they do get more clients in? What would be some tips that you would share based on your experience in the last few months of really inspiring work?
So first is go through all the applications you can from virtual assistants, because I just hired a VA that's $18 an hour, but which is expensive for the
Yeah.
VA, but she's
Damn.
managed accounts like Ray-Ban, L'Oreal. She has really amazing design. And so when I show her work to clients, they're willing to pay the $150 an hour. And she's trained and been a VA for like 18 years. So my point is like, you have to dig to find these people that are going to be talented enough and still figure out how to be a business person with it, right? So yeah. I've been digging on Instagram for freelancers, digging through virtual assistants, and finding and curating 5 or 6 people right now who are really talented contractors who can do pretty much anything design-wise. And so now that I've curated this team, I'm really just acting as a broker middleman and the POC for the client and the person making sure shit gets done, because I'm a mover and shaker for creatives, but also that the client's being heard. So that's what I love. I love working with people. I think if you're a creative, I just not saying enough about figuring out how to train and replicate yourself, or hiring somebody, really digging for that talented designer that's still, maybe they are 30 or 40 an hour, but you're still teaching them about account management. You're still teaching them about good design, and they benefit from the relationship with you, and you can trust that the caliber level of work will get done. That would be my first tip. You said 2 more, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was really good.
I would say only one more tip would be just don't seem desperate in sales calls, and let the client, when I've been desperate for revenue, I might think they don't sense it, but somehow they always do. It's like dating,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You right when you get home from the date. They want the person that waits a little bit, gives them some space, right? So, unless it was like a really good date, but you gotta play it cool. So play it cool sales calls. Don't over pitch. Just have a conversation like we're doing now. Treat them like they're already a client, and if you think that, and also put them on a little bit of edge with the fact that you let them know that unless synergy is great, you're interviewing them too. So I always say, like, my go-to phrase is like, we're always looking for great synergy with our clients, and we know it goes both ways. And clients appreciate that, because they know that if I'm not passionate about their work or their beliefs or their dreams, I may not want to work with them. And it's the same vice versa. So
awesome. Yeah, some really golden nuggets in there. And yeah, I remember when I first found one of my designers that was like 15, 20 an hour in Southeast Asia, while I'm, billing 60, 70, 80 an hour. And when you have that moment, it's like, okay, like your whole concept of time and money shifts. And it sounds like, that's been a big thing for you, and really important for people to understand, because, what's that?
You got to think about your business.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you charge? I mean, the value of $115 an hour is that you get me account managing, you get major strategy underneath it. And also my 20 an hour person, I spent a lot of time finding. You don't have to find the person. So I think, don't just think about hours, think about value and what you bring to the table. Because I think some creatives get guilty and greedy for charging a high hourly rate. You don't need to feel like that. Think about what you bring to the table, and how long it's taken you to learn these skills, and even the personal development like this that you invest in. Don't feel guilty. Just take care of yourself.
Totally. Yeah. That's really, really important. That's, I think you've met Robert, but yeah, he had a similar experience where he was like, this is a guy who went to Penn. I think he has a master's from Johns Hopkins and Penn, I think, as well. And he's worked with like NFL athletes and like the highest caliber people in the world. And I'm like, and he was worried about, increasing his rates from like 50 to 150 an hour or something, because he does one-on-one. And I was like, look, how much money have you spent on educating yourself? And he said like $200,000 over like 15 to 20 years, right? So, a lot of people listening to this, sure, you probably don't have that much, but I'm sure you've spent hundreds and thousands of your time and hours, not to mention, courses or mentors or consultants or experiences that you've invested in. So again, like Picasso, he wrote his signature on a napkin and gave it to a woman and said $5,000. And I'm going to butcher the story. I'll drop a comment, but yeah, basically he's saying you're not paying for the time, you're paying for the work and the art, right? So yeah, really important reminder. And you're a boss at sales, so that's really important in conveying your value. So for those of us listening, how can we stay in touch with you? I know we've talked about like having you as a guest trainer or mentor, and sharing your value with the community. So that'll be really fun. But I'll also drop a link to your ebook and some of the other assets that you have. But yeah, tell us how we can follow along and stay connected with you and where we can learn more.
Yeah, so Instagram is a great place, Natalie Micale. I am dropping a whole new Oh Hello Instagram aesthetic today. We just finished. We worked with a designer. I put a lot of strategy in it. It's going to be really kick-ass. I think you guys are going to love the brand that we've created there. So complete revamp. So Oh Hello Agency, Natalie Micale. And if you're a freelancer and you've got some good work to show, I am specifically looking for a copywriter freelancer right now, especially if you write copy. Would love to hear from you.
Beautiful. All right, awesome. Well, I'll go ahead and
yeah, and my guide. My boyfriend just reminded me. I have that guide.
Yes.
How to hire a virtual assistant. And I actually will send you, Matt. I have a 30-page teaser that I made just for different Hunger Peeps and some friends. So it's a 30-page
awesome
teaser. It basically explains exactly how to hire a virtual assistant and offboard social media to them. It's great for other agency levers. It's $199. So yeah, I'm selling it, and I'll get you guys that free 30-pager so you can check it out.
Beautiful. All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Natalie. I'm excited to, first of all, thank you for letting us be a part of your journey, and I'm excited to see what the next few months look like. You're crushing it, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. And thank you for sharing this awesomeness with our community. So, thank you. But guys, if you're listening, go ahead, drop any comments or questions that you may have for Natalie. Anything about freelancing, running a social media agency, being a boss, whatever it is. Drop comments. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, subscribe, drop a like, share it with friends, all that good stuff. So thank you so much, Natalie. And I look forward to talking with you again soon. And we'll catch you later. All right?
Sounds good. Thanks,
Peace.
Matt. Bye.